Law Parish Church, where grace happens.
My name's Paul, and I am the Church of Scotland Parish Minister for the village of Law. From wherever you are joining us this morning, know that you're welcome. We make space to listen, to pray, to reflect together. And into that space we trust we are encountered by God, the God who can only know us by loving us. So let's make space in ourselves today to allow God to know us as we make our journey into Seeds for Sunday.
The God who laid the earth's foundations, the God who's Lord of every nation, the God who tends each generation is here. The God who left his throne so glorious, the God who walked the road before us, the God who rose from death victorious is here, is here. Hallelujah, he is here. Hallelujah, our God is here. The God who makes his home inside us, the God who teaches and inspires us, the God who leads and guards us is here, is here. And hallelujah, he is here. Hallelujah, our God is here. Hallelujah, he is here. Hallelujah, our God is here. He is here. He is here. He is here. He is here.
God of the morning, wake us up. Wake us up to wonder. Wake us up to beauty. Wake us up to justice. Wake us up to love. God of the morning, wake us up. Wake us up good.
After Jesus had spoken these words, he looked up to heaven and said, Father, the hour is come. glorify your Son, so that the Son may glorify you, since you have given him authority over all people, to give eternal life to all whom you have given him. And this is eternal life, that they may know you, the only true God, and Jesus Christ whom you have sent. I glorified you on earth by finishing the work that you gave me to do. So now, Father, glorify me in your own presence with the glory that I had in your presence before the world existed. I ask not only on behalf of these, but also on behalf of those who will believe in me through their word, that they may all be one, as you, Father, are in me and I am in you. May they also be in us, so that the world may believe that you have sent me. The glory that you have given me, I have given them, so that they may be one, as we are one, I in them and you in me, that they may become completely one, so that the world may know that you have sent me and have loved them even as you have loved me. Father, I desire that those also, whom you have given me, may be with me where I am, to see my glory, which you have given me because you loved me before the foundation of the world.
Was there anything about the human heart that she didn't know about? No Latin name you could conjure that she didn't already know? It was like you could take someone and blindfold them, lead them into the heart of a city, and they'd still be able to pinpoint their way around. There was nothing about the heart this consultant didn't know. She swished the curtains around Vanessa's bed, picked up the chart, noted what was there, looked at the graphs, prodded her swollen ankles. The junior doctor stood there, silently looking down, as though she had taken a vow of silence. Well, Mrs. Sharp, I think you'll be able to go home. I think you'll be able to go home today. Oh, right. Yeah, do you have anybody who could come and collect you? No, I don't, Vanessa said. Okay, we'll arrange that for you once we've got your meds sorted out. A partial swish of the curtains and the consultant and junior doctor were gone. Anne was a domestic. She pushed the curtains fully back so that Vanessa's bed was visible again. How did that go, Hen? Aye, she said that I can go home. Oh, great. That's your ticker fixed. You can get your dancing shoes on. Vanessa laughed, but there wasn't any mirth in her laughter. It was like the sound of an empty can being kicked up the street. The domestic, Anne, looked at her. It's going back to an empty house, isn't it? How did you know? Vanessa asked. Hey, who knows what you like for your lunch and who doesn't? Who's been sitting up with you during the night for a wee half hour when you couldn't sleep? Do you not think we've been getting to know each other? I tell you, I know what it's like to lose somebody. I know what it's like to go back to an empty house. Vanessa said, it's no even as if he was a talker. I think he spoke more to the dog than he spoke to me. Anne sat down with the chair next to the bed. It's going to take a while, Hen. It always does. But you'll get through it. It'll just take up a different place in your heart. But it'll still be part of who you are. Tell me this. She leaned in closer to Vanessa. Do you ever find yourself, maybe before you go to sleep, saying goodnight to him? Vanessa smiled. And Anne's smile back was like a reflection in the mirror. So do I. The cardiac surgeon could repair Vanessa's heart, but it was Anne that got to know who it belonged to. And as much as she needed a valve repaired, she needed to be able to share what was in her heart. Because a heart needs a reason to beat. And in the end, a heart is more than a muscle. It's a storied place. Do you not think there's a world of a difference between knowing something about someone and knowing them, like personally knowing them? In John's Gospel, the Gospel writer says, "This is eternal life, that they know you, the only true God, and Jesus Christ, whom you have sent." Being known by God, knowing God, that's what eternal life is. In John's Gospel, eternal life is never simply about a duration or period of time, endless time, say. It's a way of describing what it's like to be known by God and what it's like to know God in return. That kind of knowing is personal, and it's the fruit of relationship. What's eternal life like? You're touching eternal life when somehow peace still finds you in the midst of trouble. You're touching eternal life when you find yourself patient in your daily struggle. You're touching eternal life when tears are summoned at the sight of someone else's sorrow or hurt or shame. You're touching eternal life when you share the bread of your heart by being there for someone. You're touching eternal life when you realise that who you are, regardless of your worst or weakest moments, is loved by God. Eternal life is easing into the truth that the life we have lived, that the life we have loved, the life we've sometimes despaired of, that the life which is sometimes more than we can understand or explain, but that we're still grateful for, is a gift given to us by God. Eternal life is to know and be known by God, to love and be loved by God. What's it like to ease into God's loving you? What's it like to begin to know God? I think in the first place is the recognition that we're already known and we're already loved long before we became conscious of it. It's a bit like a child in its mother's arms. A child just newly born who doesn't have the capacity to know anything. But that child's mother holds her, knows her, loves her, and will nourish and care for her until the child grows in awareness that she is loved and returns the love she is loved with. I think similarly, we are invited by Jesus to grow in to God's knowing us and to learn to love with the love we are loved with. In John's Gospel, Jesus says in a prayer, "Father, the hour has come. Glorify your Son, that he may glorify you." What's Jesus asking for here? Well, glory is a subject that's never far away from the Bible. Moses asked to see God's glory, but he was told he couldn't handle it. The psalmist says that the skies are proclaiming God's glory. The prophets say that one day the glory of the Lord shall fill the earth as the waters fill the sea. And the prophet Isaiah in particular, well, he says that when Israel came home from exile, God would gather all his lost and broken people like lambs in his arms. And it was then Isaiah said that the glory of the Lord shall be revealed to everyone. Imagine that. The glory of the Lord is revealed how? Like God gathering the lambs that he loves into his arms. So when Jesus asks that God would glorify him, glorify your Son that he may glorify you, Jesus says, he's not asking God to give him something that he doesn't already have. A blind beggar whose sight is returned to him. A desperate and grieving father whose daughter has given back her life. A woman in a crowd who's given a secret touch that heals her. A bad-smell tax collector scuttling up a tree who's invited down, and in receiving Jesus into his home is returned to his community. It's in all of these places that the glory of God is shown to the world through Jesus, as he comes to the abandoned, the grieving, the desperate, those terrified of dying, those who wait helpless in what can't be changed. It's here we are shown and see for ourselves and are invited to know the glory of God. What is the glory of God as we see it in Jesus? It's the quality of his being there with someone. Jesus is entirely free to be completely present to whoever he is with. Jesus is being there for every person he met, as though they were a main character in his story, as though they were a main character in God's story and not a footnote of his own. That's what God's glory is like, lived out in Jesus. It's the way he is present to, the way he can be there for others. That's the glory of God in Jesus. God's glory shines through Jesus in his being there for others. Because God's glory is the love that endlessly gives itself away without ever being used up. John writes at the beginning of his Gospel, we saw his glory. They saw it in how Jesus lived. They saw it in how Jesus died. They saw it in how Jesus rose again. And in all of this, what was lived, suffered, died, and gone through beyond death was done for the sake of others. Glory is the character of God revealed. And the character of God that Jesus shows us is the love that is entirely there for someone else. Entirely focused on who is there. That's the divinity of God, gloriously shining in Jesus. As we get to know Jesus and get to know the God he is showing us, the glory of God seeks to find a place to shine in our lives. Jesus wants to reflect his glory in and through us. How? In the way that we are there for others. In the way that we care for others. In the way that others are no longer a footnote to our story, but recognised by us to be main characters in God's. May the glory of God be found in you, work through you, be felt by you, that eternal life might be more than just 2 words, that eternal life might be the circle of experience that you are surrounded by. Amen. This is the real life, the eternal life, that they know you. These are the words Jesus prays to the good Father. Listen again to them. This is the real life, the eternal life, that they know you, not as an idea, but as a living presence. Jesus gives us eternal life, space to know God and be known by God. God can only know us by loving us. Into the stillness, as best we can, make a space now for God to know you. God gazes on who you are. Allow God's gaze to rest on you. As though you were a child in a mother's arms, rest in God's knowing you. Rest all that you fear. Rest all that you struggle with. Rest all that pains you. in the arms of God's knowing you. In the stillness, we rest in God. Draw near to God, and He will draw near to you. O Lord, my heart is not lifted up, my eyes are not raised too high. I do not occupy myself with things too great and too marvellous for me, but I have calmed and quieted my soul like a weaned child with its mother. My soul is like the weaned child that is with me.
And the love of God and the fellowship of the Spirit be with us. May the grace of Jesus Christ and the